Jim, tell us about what you're doing this year and why you're giving away turkeys to the three folks that you are.
I've been giving away birds for several years now. I started out donating birds to the Salvation Army for Christmas Meals on Wheels for the people who couldn't afford to have their own meals. My wife and I worked vigorously. We cook the birds here, prepare them, take them down to the I just lost my way of thinking. Salvation Army. Dang it!
There you go.
Yeah, I got shell-shocked. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, we started with the Salvation Army, and as time went on, we were donating continually to them, and I decided it was something to do different. And this season, I didn't know where I wanted to go or what I wanted to do with the birds, and I had this mishaps happen where I got done work driving a tractor trailer on an extremely hot June day. And when I got out of the tractor trailer I was driving, I mistakenly placed my phone on the hood of my pickup truck. And being hot and sticky, I couldn't wait to get into the AC of my truck. So I wasn't thinking properly, and I got in, the AC's on, I said, yes, this is great. And I started driving home, which was right through Townsend Harbor, up Tyler Road to 13 to home. I got into the house, I went to grab my phone, I don't have a phone. Dang it. So I started thinking, I'll just go right back, I'll backtrack my entire route. I went all the way back down to where I would get out of the tractor trailer and couldn't find the phone. Well, I drove back home, my wife came home and I says, Ann, I lost the cell phone, I don't know whether to go down and tell Verizon to shut it off or what to do with it at this point. About a 45-minute period subsided, possibly an hour, and her phone rang, and on the other end was her mother. And her mother said that some gentleman just called and said that he had my phone. Would you be good enough to contact him with my number so I can get it to him? So indeed, I called Frank. Frank said, I got your phone. And he told me where he lived, which was just around the corner from where I got out of the tractor trailer. I drove back down to Frank's house, and lo and behold, I walked in and Frank's standing there with my phone. And the funny part of the story was the fact that my mom passed away a few years ago, 3, and I still have mom's number first in my phone, and then I've got my mother-in-law's number second. Well, Frank called my mother's house, and my dad has a lovely new girlfriend, and she said, there's no Jim here. So when Frank talked to me, he said, your first mother doesn't know you're here. Your second mother does. Remember that?
I remember. He's like, I don't have a son named Jim.
So
Okay.
I said to Frank at the time, I says, Frank, I said, you deserve a reward for this. I says, I don't want to give you money. Money is too easy. But I happen to raise turkeys, and what size is your family? So he told me he's got several relatives. I says, I'm going to give you your Thanksgiving bird. That's my payback to you for finding my cell phone and getting it to me as promptly as you did. That's how Frank came into the picture, him and his lovely wife. And I called him on Sunday after we finished harvesting the birds, and I said, Frank, are you available? He says, yes, I am. I said, I'll be down in about 45 minutes with your bird. Then I realized I had to watch a football game on TV, and I got delayed a little while. It wasn't the Patriots, by the way. It was another early afternoon game. I got down to Frank's house, and I presented Frank and his wife this bird. And this bird hadn't even lost its body temperature yet because it was still that fresh. Yeah. And he said to me, you might have to delay to Christmas. What shall I do with it? So I explained to him how to process and prepare the bird to be frozen so that when his wife returned from her trip, they could take it out and be able to have a good day and a great meal. Yeah. Now, Rick ended up, I was working with Rick driving tractor trailer at Sterlite. And we just started getting to small conversations, making general chat, talked about each other's backgrounds, and he came up with the fact, yeah, I'm a season ticket holder for the Patriots. I said, really? I can't believe that. I love football. He looked at me and says, you like football? I says, indeed I do. I played football in the Army, which I did. So conversation went on. A couple of his buddies were going to go away for the first game with the Buccaneers. And he said there would be a couple of tickets available. I said, you got to make a phone call. Got to make a phone call. He made the phone call. He got the connection. I told him, do not tell my wife I bought these tickets. I want to surprise her. because she knew that I was going to go to the game because I had one ticket. She didn't know I had two. And he kept it a big secret, and then the next thing I know, some stuff transpired, so I had to tell my wife that, indeed, you're going to go to the football game with me. Don't make your other plans. And we went down to the football game with him. We tailgated, we watched the game, we tailgated again, and all the way back from the stadium, we had to stop at one red light. There was no traffic because of the tailgating time. And he did put on one hell of a spread with him and his fellow tailgaters, etc. And I found out above and beyond that he's been a designated driver for season ticket holders for many years. And I thought that was a rewarding scenario also, being the designated driver. And everybody could have a good time, do what they wanted to do, and no problems on the way home. So here we are. I decided to, oh, I'm sorry, Wanda. Wanda has the Unique Boutique over in West Townsend. And when I was driving tractor trailer, I was able to acquire Pepperidge Farm cookies that were outdated from the vendors. And they'd allow me to grab numerous boxes of cookies, and I'd bring them back. I'd go down and I'd give them to Wanda to distribute to a lot of the people she knew that were not financially satisfied, and give these people the cookies and make their holidays a little better. She also donates clothing, she donates toys, she does a lot of wonderful things in her little store down there. And I did give her a bird also. This is her bird sitting right here on this table. I'm going to put it back in the bag and it will be delivered either late tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. And she couldn't be here tonight because she was a little bit too busy, and I know you're going to give her a call. So that's the story about these birds, and maybe these gentlemen have something to say.
Yeah, so what do you think about this, being rewarded?
It was great. I mean, like I said, he said, reward was something that wasn't something, and of course I wasn't looking for a reward. It was just to return a phone. I can see it as, I'm a business owner, so losing my phone is like losing everything. All my contacts are in there, who I have to call, fax numbers, address, it's all in there. These days, everything is technology. So losing a phone, I mean, to me, it's like you return that phone because it's worth more to the person who lost it than you trying to sell it. So that was my thing. My thing was basically, and my son's a Cub Scout. He went through Cub Scout, he went through Boy Scouting, and that's one of the things we learned. You give out there what you want to get back at you. So goes around, comes around. That's my philosophy, and as you can see, it came back, and I got me a very fresh bird that was still warm. Still had feathers on it, by the way.
We don't do the finished processing, that's your job.
Absolutely, no, but it's much appreciated. I think it's more of what Jim does for the community as far as raising these birds and the charity work and so forth like that. But I'm more than pleasure to be here, and I appreciate what you did for us, Jim, and my family is going to enjoy that, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great, and so now what about you? How long have you been doing this designated driver thing?
Pretty much, well, I've been a season ticket holder for 35 years, but probably since the new stadium opened back around 2000, I started being the driver every week. I started out with a minivan, and I'd get 6 of us in there with all our tailgating needs. I go, people would be amazed to see us come in and all get out of a Windstar and have that much stuff with 2 big grills and tables and easy ups, and I always made it comfortable because I never really drank, so I would be the one to pick up all my buddies. A lot of them come from this area, and I got one friend in Bellingham that we go down and pick up on the way to the stadium, and I drive and pick them up at their house and drop them off at their door, and if they wanted to have a few, you could have a good time, and it was always just fun, and it's just carried on for years, and now we got a bigger truck, and there's 6 of us that go down, and I was telling Jim about it, and got it to get him into the game. I told him, hey, I'll pick you up at your door, and I brought him back at the end of the day, and got to see how we operate.
My wife and myself, the both of us got the pleasures of this.
Yeah, they both got it, and we had my son with us that day.
Yeah.
We had a great day for it, a good win, and it was just a lot of fun, and it's just carried on for years. I prefer they like the way
he just came from the overtime game.
They like the way I handle the traffic. I know how to deal with it. We got the same parking lot all the time where we park, and you get to know the people, and plus I'm the cook too. So
You're the chef and the designated driver.
Yeah.
So what do you think that about?
I was kind of shocked about this. Yeah. I preferred he would have brought it to the Salvation Army and shared it with people, the people that need it. But it's was a great time, a great adventure. I got to come up and experience on how to prep the bird the other day with them, and that was a great life experience for me.
We harvested everything in the garage. We had a de-assembly line set up, and it ended up in packaging and ready to go in the oven.
It turned into an adventure I'll never forget. I didn't grow up that way, and it was kind of, got to have my son with me. He got to see a little bit of the experience, and
You had culture shock, but you got over it.
my family, were more city oriented as opposed to country. So that's the way that went.
Anyhow, these two gentlemen, for the deeds they've done for me, and for Wanda also, who is not here, I thought they deserved something a little special. And having these birds available to do something good for the community and these folks, that's what I decided to do. With my wife also, by the way. I cannot exclude her. I know that I'm not talking much about her, but I'm not used to really being on the spotlight as such. So.